excited to share some more cards that I found at the flea market. First, an overview of these packs, and then we're going to check them out. Conan, all Chromiums. We have Greg and Tim, Hildebrandt. I'm not sure if I was staying away from comic book cards. I wasn't really sure if this was comics or fantasy, so I decided to just give it a go anyway. American Vintage Motorcycles, Premiere Edition. And then Blueprints of the Future. Followed by Coors Collector's Cards. It says Adult Collectibles, so I think that's just because the beer, you have to be over 21 to consume alcohol. But I'm going to have to check these out off camera to make sure that it's only pictures of, like, beautiful mountainscapes where the water for that beverage flows out of pristine mountain streams, I'm sure. Okay, we've got Rob Rupel again. Some of these are repeats, but I just mix them in with the new stuff. TSR 92 Series Collector Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. I'm really excited about this one. Extremely excited. And some more Blug, if you watched the last edition. Okay, so let's begin first of all with Conan. Comic Images. One of my favorite fantasy franchises. Extremely awesome. I actually just ordered some card sleeves. I've only kept about half of the cards that I've unveiled on camera, but the ones that I have kept I really like, so I wanted to have a way to store them neatly. Alright, first of all, these Chromium ones might be a little hard to pick up on the camera, but let's see here. Flashing light, blinding Conan as he goes about on his adventures. This is Conan, like, leaping. Let's see here. I can't tell if that's a disembodied head or what's going on, but it's definitely an action scene with somebody shrouded. Oh, it's Medusa, or some kind of a snake female with a human head trying to trick Conan, but he's diving over the dividing wall, ready to attack. Here's Conan once again taking on a beastie and protecting a maiden in distress, some type of a rock golem, an unusual creature in a cave somewhere. And on the back of these cards, some exciting details like about, I think, the stories where these images were drawn from. Okay, so now we have, maybe that's Thulsa Doom, is that correct? Sacrificing a vixen. These might be a little hard to see, so I'm going to sort of rush through them a little bit. Maybe we want to get to clear, vibrant images, as clear as possible on my iPod camera. So, holding up the head of the slain, Thulsa Doom, maybe. Saving the day, saving everyone. Okay, a demoness, some type of vixen. And Conan, with the funny look on his face, evaluating things. Alright, a real American hero, the 30th anniversary salute to G.I. Joe. Well, that's an unusual addition, maybe an advertisement, who knows. Back to the action. Conan slaying a snake monster. Sorry about the image quality, everyone, and like a zombie madman in the background. And finally, these must be slain warriors. Conan may have even chopped off the hand of this combatant, leaving him alive. So he's going to have to live with that reminder of what happened when he crossed Conan. Alright, moving forward to Greg and Tim Hildebrandt. I like to view those Conan cards. I'll probably keep 2 or 3 of them. Alright, so, whoa, this is unusual already, and it's a Chromium. So we've got these guys blasting with their brass instruments, some laser beams, or blasting forth some music, and this is a drummer. This is a very cool, stylized jazz as seen. Very cool. It might not be fantasy sci-fi, but I like it. Okay. Some Puss in Boots. No, Red Riding Hood. Maybe this is a mashup of some different stories, but very, very cool. Nicely done, framed well, and you can see the snow. I thought at first that these were little indentions in the card, but it really gives the appearance that the snow is really there. Okay. Alright, so we've got this guy pleading with death. I'm thinking this is probably, is it Ebenezer Scrooge? It must be. And out of left field, we've got some sloths. And it's raining. These Chromium cards are very well done. The scenes are beautifully made. And then we have like Cinderella or somebody, some king. Hoping that the quality of these images is okay. I'll try to mess with the focus a bit. Hopefully it wasn't too intolerable, those first few pack openings. And then a loot-bearing angel flying through the night sky. A pair of angels making beautiful music. And this is Cyclops, and he's having his eyeball poked out with a searing red-hot poker. Okay, great. I think I'm also going to hang on to a couple of those. And really, once again, my apologies if the focus is out of whack. Some motorcycles. I am planning to get my motorcycle license this fall of 2015. Indian Sport Scout. Followed by the 1920 Harley Davidson with a sidecar. Looking good. A 57 Harley. I've not really ever ridden any motorcycles or been into motorcycle culture, so the 71 Harley, an experimental model. It must have been a Daredevil Cal Rayborn. Another sidecar Harley from the 1920. Pretty rad. Wow, this is a cool skeletal model, a factory hill climber from 1930. And it's got some chains wrapped around the tire, so to increase the traction. This is something straight out of a science fiction universe. This one is a 1910 Yale cycle. An Indian 4-cylinder from 33. Pretty nice. Followed by a 35 Indian Model 4. I think I can tell why. I want to learn all about how motorcycles work. Smitty's 83 Harley Davidson. Like a racing cycle, maybe. Followed by the final one, 1928 Indian Sport Scout. Okay. That's pretty rad. Now for some more blueprints of the future. We have, first of all, this giant monstrous behemoth and an interstellar warrior ready to do battle with it. Okay. lives. There's a burning building in the background. Another piece of outer space flare just above the planet surface. Now we've got an actual Stegosaurus and a robot and a couple of futuristic looking folks. Yeah, a little too much going on in that one for me to hang on to, probably. This is another repeat, but in case this is your first viewing of one of these unboxings, get a close look at this butterfly lady. Alright. A cool alien creature in a world that looks much like Earth. Alright, a fascinating look at someone's imagining of an outer space anomaly or a black hole or something. Very cool. Yep. Not much to say about that except for I like it. And a shuttlecraft being shot by a fighter jet. Okay. Alright, the Coors collector's cards. The flea market stall where I bought these had some, like, cheerleaders and model cards, so I just want to make sure that this is PC, and it looks to me like that they are. Okay, this is just classic images from the history of the Coors bottling plant. Golden lager beer, old bottle. Is it better to have the bottle as a collectible or the card that shows a picture of the bottle? Which is the better collectible? An autumn scene in the mountains. Very pristine, although a little suspect in the composition department. Whoa, it's a goat. Maybe it's a doppelbock. Oh, it's a bock. Wow, she is dealing with the satyr. Oh, watch out, lady. In my experience, there's only one thing that happens when you start messing around with satyrs. Yeah. Yes. Another, oh, nice. It looks almost like trees, tree bark, but it's also in a beautiful copper color. And I feel as if probably there's been some focus issues with these chromiums, especially. I think it's the glare, but that's very nice. Okay, and we have now this young lady. A beer drinker, we're led to believe. A black and white pic of probably an old brewing plant there in the mountains, or on the plains. Some early ceramic or candle, beer, memorabilia items. And here we go, the fine banquet beer, Coors. I don't think today it would be listed among the fine banquet offerings at your local banquet, but nevertheless, on to Rob Rubel. I admit I am rushing through these a bit, just in case the battery dies. Not that I rush through our experiences together, it's just I want to get it all in one take. Alright, so and also I like these fantasy cards much more than the collectibles from manufacturers. So, castle wall, tree, and creature standing above you. Maybe he's there to help. Who can really say? Some vampirism. And some spirits. That's an evocative image. A terrifying ant. I had a dream once that there was pile of clothes, and I was certain that my death was near. There we have another cool image. I was glad to get another pack of this artist's cards because I remember enjoying the majority of his other ones. So she's under the water. She might have an influence on the bloom time, the intensity of the blooms in the summer. Okay, here's a very cool image of perhaps he's smoking opium and a family in China. That's a loaded image. You can tell they're good when you have to use your nail to access them. Okay, she's having a look at a landscape out the window, and the glare is almost as if you're really there. Alright, we'll let our eyes adjust for a moment. Also a good image. Oh, and a double. First time I've seen a double in any one of these packs. Okay, that's a gift. And a pair of science fiction personalities inhabiting a land full of amazing technology. And finishing off with a cool fantasy image. I really like this painter. A good mix of high quality fantasy and science fiction imagery. Very nice. An early favorite. Wow, the D&D one was next, but I'm going to save that one for last because we've seen Blue before. And I'm most excited, I admit about the D&D cards. Alright, now I remember this guy. It's the sort of a comic imagery. So we have the combat of Dr. Jekyll, maybe, and also like a werewolf creature. Oh, and they're not correctly facing. Okay, like a Conan type. Very stylized comic look. And this one is a little bit more realistic. A battle scene on the mountain pass. Okay, now this one's okay, but overall the art style of this painter I'm not into, but I'll definitely hang on to that Demon and Viking or Skyrim card. Another Conan type. Wow, this is a really weird boar creature. Looks dangerous and probably the results of a scientific experiment. This is a keeper. Good. So if you're in the tavern, gazing over and seeing that guy, maybe you're there to meet him. Some type of a troll with a pet. Can't say I'm much into the art style of these, but the fantasy ones overall are good. This one's good quality. A lot going on. Very well done, I would say. Finally, another Conan type. Doing battle. Speaking of doing battle, here we go. D&D 1992 Collector's Cards Part 2. So I've purposefully not bought any of the card packs that were like games or expansion packs or boosters for game systems. So I'm hoping this isn't for a game. I'm just hoping it's incredible D&D imagery. Okay, so it's a mixture of Dragonlance, Ravenloft, and other sorts of D&D fantasy franchise imagery. Here we have maybe a paladin, the red-headed Kashyria. These must be characters from some of the storybooks. Maybe Barnabas looks familiar to anyone who's these fantasy worlds, I'm sure. Captain Kazel. Lasva. A merchant, a trader, maybe just a warrior. Probably has some spells up his sleeve, I would guess. The action pose of quick Windsor, ready to slay any and everything that gets in his way. Hermenard. That's an evocative image. Very foreboding. Okay. Now we have Jesse. Would have deserved the moniker of Quick, hanging out with those bunnies. Alright, our buddy Stobon. Looks like this is a character you would meet at the local Red Fair, doesn't it? Yep. Works his retail job by day, but then, he's an elvish warlord on the weekends. Okay, back off. So I can't say I'm thrilled with these cards, but imagining the personalities and the stories of these characters is kind of interesting. With her pet Songbird, actually, I had an illusionist in middle school when I played D&D named Skog, and he had 2 songbirds. I may have told this story before, but I tried to use blinding lights, like a spell of orbs that made, it's called like blinking orbs, a light spell to keep them warm in an icy climate by taking them into my cloak. And unfortunately they died. It was not a heat-producing orb spell. Alright, some great looking characters, and now we've got some items. Very rare and powerful magical items. I think I would choose this one. And finally, to wrap it up, the Crown of Souls. And thanks very much for watching this edition of the card unboxing. And there's another one on the way.